Hi everyone, it's Killshot 999. I can't even say it. I'm so excited to be here tonight from 999 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 5, Rick's Crazy Dreams. You know it's been a busy couple days when you can't even pronounce the name of your own channel. So with that being said, we have got a lot of good stuff to talk about. I want to thank all of you. I've been getting a lot of spoilers and crazy information out there today. I don't know. The spoilers are coming out of the woodwork. I just don't believe it at this point because it's just random people and random things. But we got some pretty good stuff tonight, so I think we're going to get some good predictions. I actually put this up as a topic of discussion and let the people, you the viewers, on our Facebook page vote of tonight's topic. And it was really about these dreams and visions and hallucinating. I've got a couple visual pics that we're going to look at. I don't want to use too many pics from this week's episode because AMC is copywriting a lot of information out there. So, of course, we will take an image. We'll talk about it. But as many of you have seen, I think the opening minutes from next week have been uploaded and deleted and deleted and deleted on Twitter and Facebook and all over the place. So AMC's cracking down. Hopefully, those powers that be at AMC understand that we're just using these images. And we like to talk about the show, so we're not giving people anything that they can't readily get and trying to promote anything along those lines. So, good to see everybody here tonight. We got Scott Kernan in the house. What's going on, Scott? To say that Rick is leaving 12 episodes after Carl. So did I miss some other super chats? Because I think I did. It looks like Rick did in fact get off the rebar. Debatable, Scott. Still debatable. We're going to jump into that in one more second. And I see some people just, what's up, hanging out. Let's first talk about this image. The Walking Dead likes to do this thing. And I am going to address Scott's super chats because some of it I agree with and some of it I'm still a little bit skeptical. But they like to do this thing that makes it more dramatic and further along than it is. Like this scene right here looks like if Rick really, really tries, he might be able to get up off the rebar. But the scene last night, it didn't look as good for him. It looked like they were literally just a few seconds away. And here's what supposedly is going to happen. Spoiler alert, this is from the opening minutes. So not a super, we're not going to give you all the spoilers because we don't have them. But apparently Rick uses his belt. So he's able to take off his belt really fast and use it, I guess, to wrap around one of the pieces of rebar or something and pull himself up. So he is going to be missing his belt. And because of that, a lot of people are saying, well, he gets off the rebar. I got to remind you once again, just because you see it does not mean it happens. It doesn't mean that he gets off the rebar. Literally. Because it's just like, just because he's riding the horse doesn't mean he's really riding the horse. And just because he's riding the horse in Atlanta or wherever else, he's not really doing it. So I think in his mind, it's going to be a combination of seeing his life flash before his eyes and then this heroic effort. But I still am going to poke a couple holes in this heroic effort. Because many people are saying, well, he gets off the rebar and he makes this long journey back and he gets to the bridge and everybody runs across the bridge. But I don't think that's possible. And here's why it's not likely to be possible. Because in the opening minutes of this week's episode, we know that Maggie and Michonne are in Alexandria. And Maggie is trying to get in to kill Negan. So while Rick is in this state where he's at right now, this moment, Maggie and Michonne and Negan are all in Alexandria. So keep that in mind. And I want to show you the proof of why that's going to be difficult. Okay, the bridge scene. Let's pay a little bit of attention to this. So in this bridge scene, this is supposedly after Rick makes it back. Green, listen to me. Listen to me. Okay? Maggie is in Alexandria. No, she is in Alexandria. I've seen it. In the opening minutes, the extended version, Maggie is standing looking at Michonne, and Michonne is standing in front of the door, not letting her get by. They have a conversation. And in the conversation, this is real. Okay? This is not a prediction. This is not speculation. Michonne says to Maggie, Glenn would not want you to do this. And she goes, well, I don't know what Glenn would want me to do. Basically, Glenn's not here. So first and foremost, we got to be clear on the fact Maggie went to Alexandria to kill Negan. That's what her purpose is, and she is there, and Michonne is standing in front of the door blocking it. So, somebody said just a minute ago they don't see Maggie and Michonne on the bridge. So I'm going to get to that in 1 second because they're on the bridge in this scene as well. So Steve Smitherman says, everyone stop what you're doing and like this video. Now I can agree with that. Everybody take a word of advice from Steve. Stop what you're doing and like this video. So in this scene where it is kind of running through, I'll see if I have another version of it. Here we go. I don't like to come into the argument without proof. All right. So over Rick's shoulder is Maggie, and right behind Daryl is Michonne. So if the two of them are in Alexandria, how can they also be on the bridge? You guys can help me with this if you want. I'm not trying to blow anybody's theories out of the water here because we all have our speculation and we all want to hope for something. But we can't get caught up in something that just is not reality because we're going to waste precious prediction time. And we're going to predict this. We're going to get this down to what happens. So, if Maggie and Michonne are here, and they're also in Alexandria, then this probably never happens. And I'll tell you some other scenes. I'm not going to give you all of them, but there's 3 different things that are out there. One is this scene. Number 2 is a scene of Rick riding the horse toward the bridge. And number 3 is a scene of Rick actually walking across the bridge with these walkers following him, not in front of the bridge, across the bridge. So this is why I'm feeling this is pretty much multiple hallucination scenes. Because the one scene in the extended preview has Rick walking across and the walkers are coming toward it. Now, in order for this to be real, then Rick would have to walk back across the bridge. So he'd have to go back and forth like twice, and then all these people would have to come over and rescue him. E-Beach says, Rick Grimes' death should be heroic, not by Rebar. So I'm getting some validation here. KCF has seen that too. So many of you that and now you can see why they took the opening minutes down. Because the opening minutes show us a lot of stuff. So I am going to go back to Hold tight, everybody. I'm going to go back to what I think, and I made this prediction in 2 other videos several months ago. I'm going to put the image up on the screen that I feel like, and I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong with this. Scott Kern, before I do this, Scott Kern says, we know for a fact Jadis is in the next episode. Jadis is still there. Jadis is not going around on the helicopter, I don't think, which does give a little bit of hope. But whether Rick is actually on the helicopter, not on the helicopter, or taken somewhere else, I think this is the last thing that Rick Grimes is ever going to see. I'm putting it up on the screen. I made this prediction about 3 months ago. This is where I think it's going to be open-ended. I got a feeling this is what he's going to wake up to. Sometime, someplace, where is he? Is he still at the Rebar? Is he made it on the helicopter? Can we speculate? But I think this is going to leave, not saying he's going to die. I'm saying I think this is when he really wakes up. Neufeld, I don't think we're going to see him get eaten. I don't think we're going to see him survive it. I don't think we're going to see him die. I really don't. And to me, this is about more than open-ended. Crystal Singer Chick says, them running across is a hallucination. Walkers are behind him. He jumps in the water, carries him downstream. Jadis radios to Chopper. I'm still skeptical that he ever gets off the Rebar. And I do want to say that there are several people that have kind of adapted my Vanilla Sky comparison. I've seen other people actually type it now and talk about it. But just to kind of put this into context, it's very possible we never see him get up. Well, this is going to be very difficult over the next few days. And it's not because I'm trying to say I'm right and thousands of people are wrong. That's not the point. What I'm saying is you have to give me a clear-cut theory where you can see the difference between the hallucination, what really happens, and what doesn't happen. And here's the problem. There are many people saying Rick gets off the rebar because I saw him use his belt. Right? Many people have said that. But just because you saw him use his belt, and that's what they showed us, does not mean it really happens. Luciano, you don't know that. You can't say he does. Just because they show it to us does not mean that's what happens. The last thing that we saw with Rick is him close his eyes. So at this moment, Rick is impaled and not moving. At this very moment, that's what's happening. So if he's unconscious and he's having an outer body experience, the first thing is, oh my God, I'm surrounded by walkers. Let me take off my belt. Boom, I can do this. I'm Rick Grimes. Let me pull myself off this rebar. Oh, I'm bleeding. Let me find this horse. Okay, I'm going to jump on his horse. I'm good. And then he goes in and out of these multiple layers of hallucination. where he rides up to this house. He walks over dead bodies. He sees choppers. But he's still, it's a, okay, let me ask this question. Maybe this will help out. And I think I got another super chat up here. Scott Kernan with another super chat, but didn't type anything that time. All right, I'm going to give you something to put it all in perspective. No, Kimberly G, it's not that it's a dream sequence. Have you ever had a dream that you were dreaming? It is trippy. It's like 2 layers of dreaming. And you woke up, but you were still dreaming. It's beyond bizarre. Okay? That's what I'm kind of feeling here. I'm feeling Rick's unconscious, and he wants to fight, but he can't. He's stuck. Can't move. And his first experience is he's kind of going through, I can escape this. I got to get back to the bridge. I got to get back to everyone. But while he's making this journey, which is not a real journey, he's also seeing his life flash before his eyes. So he's on a kind of quest to get there, but he's still seeing other things and other flashbacks. All right, I got a couple super chats. Let me jump in here real quick. I got Peter M. Do you think we already saw Rick die? Pete, I can't say that. I can't say that him impaling and closing his eyes is his death. I don't think so. I think he's going to open his eyes. I do think he's going to open his eyes right here, and this is what he's going to see. And it might be up to us to decide what happens next. And there might be some speculation. Is this a walker? Is this a whisper? Is it at the Rebar? Is it at another location? Did he hear helicopters in the background? I think there's going to be a lot of really eerie type of special effects. We got B. Core says, the reason I believe he actually does get off the Rebar a little bit is because with the hallucinations we've seen, they seem really crazy and out there, while the belt scene felt grounded and real. Well, one of the scenes as well, B. Core, to kind of answer that, is he's also down on his knees and he's looking up, and it's a little bit kind of, like you would see if you were in pain or like fading out. So I'll give you that. And I'll give you the possibility he gets off the Rebar. I'm not saying it's a done deal. What I'm saying is, getting off the Rebar is a progression, right? If it really happens. So he has to get off the Rebar. He has to get on the horse. He has to escape these walkers. He also has to take off his belt, pull himself off the Rebar within seconds, literally seconds, and have enough strength while he's bleeding to get on this horse. And the ride back's not going to be that far, right? It's probably only going to take him... I'm going to ask everybody here this question because we got a ton of people. And let me also say this. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate the passion, the chat, all the comments. Get your comments included in this video. Let's say Rick really gets off the Rebar and gets on the horse and rides back to the bridge. How long, approximately, do you think it would take him to ride the horse back? Give me your thoughts there. We got Charles Thompson says, regardless how it ends, I'm locked in the show until it ends. I believe the show is going to be great with the whispers. Charles, there's a lot of people that talk tough and say, I'm quitting the show, I'm quitting the show. I think you'll be surprised how many people actually stay regardless of what happens. I think it's going to be a tough of them. I think there's going to be a lot of them. Sorry. I'm reading like 3 comments here. Home Flaherty says, Sox win, but I lose Rick in the same night. Bittersweet. Home Flaherty, how about this? Sox win, we lose Rick, and 999 Gaming just hit 80,000 subscribers. Hey, congratulations to every one of you. You guys are absolutely amazing. We would not be showing this growth if it wasn't for each and every one of you. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything that you guys do. We're going to be here for a little bit more. Also want to thank my moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels. Amazing job in the growth over the last year. And it is an absolute pleasure to be here and to talk to you guys each and every night. So that's just a brief little commercial interruption. It's okay. And I'm seeing a lot of faces that have been here for a long time. So I don't know the exact time many of you started watching, but I remember many of you from 3 years ago. So that's how long we've been doing this. Actually, almost 4 years. All right. So you guys are saying 20 minutes. Okay? All right, I'll give you that. I'm going to walk through 4 different things that are all going to be impossible at the same time. Okay? Where Rick is at that intersection is the way to Alexandria. Right? Rick and Daryl were going, and Daryl went straight across where they got called in the pit. But Daryl was supposed to go the other direction, which was not the way they came from, but was supposed to make a left there to go to Alexandria. Still with me? And that is the Alexandria where Maggie and Michonne are currently at. All right, everybody's still with me here. Walking Dead Nerd said that's true. Cody Whittington says, last seen, he won't be on the rebar. Gun left on the ground, lots of blood. The group finds it. Time skip. Sorrow of death, but also some hope. I'm okay with that. Because that, I think, fits in the category of is he dead or is he alive? I'm totally good with that. Appreciate your super chat. And we're going to dig into that theory a little bit throughout the week, too. We're not just going to stick on one theory. So, we got Charles Thompson with a super chat. Says, I believe Rick won't die. Jadis will call the helicopter, and Rick will get picked up, and Jadis will die. She's the only one who knew where he was taken. Charles, I think that is still a possibility as well. Hold tight with that thought as well. So I got 2 things we're going to get back to, and both of those theories are very much in play. So I'm not going to forget about you. So we're going to get away from this scene of the face. And we're going to get back to this scene. So here's my question, everybody. The bridge is the way into the base camp. How did Maggie and Michonne get back to the other side of the bridge in the base camp and also get past all those walkers and past Rick along the way and not realize there were thousands of walkers and Rick impaled on a piece of rebar? So, if you buy into the theory that Rick actually did free himself, and if he did make it back, and if he does fall to one knee, and if Maggie and Michonne run past him and don't even stop to say, what happened to you? It didn't happen. It did not happen. Three months ago, we saw this scene, and the first thing that we said was, Rick's injured. Why is no one stopping to help him? Why is one person not running to him? Right? And then we tabled it. We put it to the side. Carol's not running to help him. Daryl's not running to grab him and put him on his shoulder. Eugene is running by. Michonne is running by. Maggie is running behind him. because Rick's vision. Look, you got Beatrice over on the far right. E-Beach, I think it's very possible we get some other deaths. I don't think it'll be just him. So I won't totally say that getting off the rebar is wrong. What I'm saying is those people that think he gets off the rebar are also mostly the same people that think he makes it back to the bridge. And if he does make it back to the bridge, I can't explain this, which means I'm going to go back to the rebar and say I can't explain the rebar either. That to me it makes much, much more sense that this is his goal. Let me ask everybody in the stream, and I want to read a couple comments. What is Rick's purpose at this very moment? What is important to him? What has he been trying to do all along? What would give him closure that he succeeded in his goal? I'm going to ask the question this way. I think this might narrow it down and make it a little bit easier. Crystal says save the bridge. Casey says save the bridge. Carl's vision. What's Carl's vision, LH Star? Unity of the community, E-Beach, bring everyone together. Everyone coming together. All the groups working together, build a future, save the bridge. Okay. Starting to make a little bit of sense now. Jason the Mixologist Daily, super chats. Thank you so much, Jason. And says Rick's main goal was to get this bridge built. So when we see everyone running across the bridge, that's just Rick thinking that everyone is helping to get the bridge built. So no matter how bad Rick's situation is, if he can't move, if he's being eaten, if he's being shot, if he's being kicked, if he's being helicoptered out and it's his last breathing moment, Rick's purpose is to unite the community, get everyone to stop fighting, and to build this bridge. This is his vision of heaven. This is his vision of what peace looks like. This is his moment. It worked. Everybody will come together to fight for this bridge and make it work. That's what he's about right now. I got a couple super chats, and I'm going to tie into that in 1 second. Scott Kernan says, a unified society, police officer's goal. Alexandra K., a horse would not stay in a place when scared, especially near the things that are scaring him, unless he has a very strong connection with the rider, owner. Not the case. Hallucination or plot hole. Let me also say this. Has anyone, and if you've seen the sneak peek, Rick escapes and gets on the horse and rides away, right? Has everybody seen that and understood that that's happening in some realm or another? Libertarian Freak says, do you think Rick dying will unite everyone? I absolutely think Rick's exit will unite everyone. Not going to say Rick dying. Okay, have you also simultaneously heard rumors, potential spoilers, or chat that the horse does not make it and the walkers get to the horse? Randy West, I've heard both. So many people have heard both. So we can't have both, can we? Okay. Now, how many people have seen the opening credits of next week where Rick is not on the horse and Rick is walking across the bridge and he's about 80% across the bridge with the walkers following him on the other side of the bridge? Okay, so in essence, we've got three different things working here. And we know all three cannot be true. I got Julie McGuire with a super chat. Thank you so much, Julie. Julie says, what about the opening credits? We see a horse buck up, Graves, Walker with blue eyes. Could the credits really tell us what happened? Yes, Julie, they definitely could. And I think most of that could possibly be true. However, there are two horses. So I think there's an element of deception in the credits, but I think there's some things that are very, very real that could happen in the opening credits. All right, so when you have complete chaos and you have complete dream sequences and hallucinations, how can any of us at this moment be convinced that any one part of that is actually real? I mean, there's a scene with Rick and Michonne face to face, and it looks super real and it looks current. You guys seen that on the opening credits as well? Where Michonne says, "We don't die." How many people have seen that? All right, so most everybody. Not real. It can't be real because she's not even there. And to tie on top of it all of these things that we're coming up with, we've got people out there throwing the word spoiler out there, and I don't believe it. I've gotten messaged maybe 20 times today with the same spoiler about Rick making it back, Daryl being torn up, Daryl drives Rick back to Alexandria. So, here's another question. Now, I will say the spoiler made a little bit more sense than this bridge scene. Because at least and it's not a real spoiler, but at least in this kind of fake spoiler that's going out, Maggie's not there, Michonne's not there. And Daryl puts him on the bike and drives him back to Alexandria. And they call for Sadiq, and there's some other things that happen. But I will say that is probably at least closer than this. I don't think this thing here can ever happen. I think it's just impossible that this is a real scene. And I think we've just disproved it over and over and over again. June Smith says the Rebar scene looks so real. Rick, see all these walkers coming, and he will do what he has to do. Desperate measures, desperate actions, maybe. Once again, June, if he makes it off the rebar, what then? What happens to him after that? Where does he go? Because if he does, and he gets on the horse, and he goes here, we know he doesn't go here because this does not happen. So if he gets up off the rebar, odds are he's not going to make it. Got Dustin Little with a bold prediction. I like that. And he put bold and bold. I'm with you, Dustin. Rick turns into a walker and wanders off. He'll return in a season or two as a walker still. Michonne will have to kill him. You had me until you put the LOL. I think Rick gets a little bit better than that. one thing that is very, very powerful is the hospital scene. Have any of you noticed how much he was bleeding when he was in the hospital and he actually looked up and held his hand? I mean, looked at his fingers. I mean, that's not a small situation. And it is true. His life is flashing before his eyes. And that's why I think they said it's going to be... They have done something here that... that I really, really appreciate. And it's when they take these movies... And it's just completely mind-blowing where you're kind of all over the place and you don't know what's real, what's Matrix, or whether it's... you get these flashbacks and you get these time bumps and you're seeing your life flash before your eyes. And I think it's so crazy because even if you spoil it, you don't really spoil it. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I feel like this ending, regardless, if we had the script right in front of us, it's going to be open for interpretation. I'm not going to give up on it. I am not going to stop with this because I have been hell-bent on this for months now. And I've said that I need this ending to work for me. And I need each of you to watch it, and whatever happens with Rick, you get your closure, or you get your hope, or whatever. It's so hard to do that, where everybody gets a little piece of something. And sort of lives through the last moments of Rick Grimes. You're going to get the struggle. You're going to get all the struggles that he deals with. You're going to get the pain and the suffering, all the dead people that he has to walk on top of and see, what comes after. And don't you think that the title is just super, super appropriate? They are going in a whole different genre. I mean, it doesn't have to be a romantic zombie show like it's always been. It can be like trippy sci-fi. They've got some latitude with this, and I think we're going to have like this psychedelic experience. And notifications in the background. I apologize. See, that's what happens. It's like you get a bell ringing that when you're talking about trippy psychedelical sci-fi stuff. And I'm okay with that, Jason. Like just an Inception, something that's just going to be nothing we've ever experienced before. And did Angela Kang not spoil it a little bit for us? Well, not spoil it, because I love she gives us hints. I'm not going to use that. Didn't she kind of hype you up a little bit? She was so excited to talk about the special effects. Like, we're doing some things you've never seen before, and these special effects are going to be so good. She didn't look like, the story of Rick has to come to an end. And even when she was talking about it, she said, there's always a challenge when you have to write a character like Rick off a show. Now, I'm not saying, she would ever come out and say, hey, when we had to kill Rick off, she wasn't going to be that obvious about it. But she was so excited about the effects. It has to be open-ended. It has to be. And you have this constant theme of Rick trying to wake himself up. And I really think in the opening minutes, you're going to have him talking to himself in the hospital, like we've seen, like, wake up, asshole, and he wakes up, but not really. And I think we're going to go through this journey with Rick. We're going to relive his life, step by step. Angie Kinley, can you explain what you meant about Rick seeing Walker's face to be open-ended exit? I'm a little confused. Wouldn't his friends find him? Well, Angie, here's what I think can happen, and it is a combination of multiple situations, and could be closure to each one of those situations. If Rick is stuck on the rebar, and this is probably 4 predictions that we made. So at one point, I was talking about this bridge scene is very interesting because people don't stop. Then we talked about Rick possibly either dying or giving people the impression. Every actor there has to think that he's dead. Otherwise, they are going to look for him. There has to be evidence of his exit that has to feel like he's dead. And then you got the hallucination, but you also have Jadis is around somewhere, and she's on her radio and her walkie-talkie, and you got the helicopter in the area as well. And then you got him possibly really waking up. So if it goes as I'm thinking, and this will hopefully answer your super chat in a roundabout way, and what his friends think. So we know Maggie and Michonne are not there. So they're never going to see it. They're never going to see what happens. We also know that Rick is completely surrounded by thousands of walkers. No one's going to go in the middle of that. They can't get to it. If Daryl drives by, maybe, he's like, what happened to Rick? And when the dust settles, maybe just his gun is there. And the herd has moved on. So I think that would give them some sort of closure. Now, the thought was, well, if Rick's missing, they're going to go looking for him. If Rick is missing in a mob of 3, 4, 5,000 walkers, it doesn't matter if they go look for him. They're probably never going to find him. So when you get the time skip, I think you're going to get that they accepted that he's gone and moved on. That's one possible scenario. The other possible scenario is that Rick talks to himself in the hospital and wakes himself up, in theory, the outer body experience. He's the hero. He gets on the horse. He's got this long journey. While he's doing that, he experiences other things, a dream within his dream, and he finally gets back to the bridge, and he makes it. And he sees all this fighting go on. So he's at peace, right? Everybody came together, even though they're not really together. Everybody protected the bridge, even though they're not really at the bridge. And then he really wakes up, and he sees this. So, look, this is not a confirmed spoiler. This is just my trippy rationale of the way I would see it play out and what I think would kind of be a cliffhanger. So when you thought he woke up, no. That was his outer body experience, and that was his quest to make it to the end of the line, the end of the road. And then, where people are thinking he really used the belt, this is what he really sees. He wakes up, he sees this face, and maybe we hear a helicopter in the background. Maybe he gets saved. Maybe he gets eaten. Maybe he disappears. But regardless, they could go back and fix it later on if they wanted to fix it. If this is all we saw, people are going to be saying what we said last night. How many of you, when you saw Rick stuck on the rebar and saw how fast those walkers were moving, honestly, how many people said to yourself that he can't make it, he's dead, it's over? How many people saw that and said it? Be honest. If the show ended at that moment and there was no episode 5, if that's the last thing you ever saw, right? I see some people say, he's screwed. He's dead. Because you saw how fast they were moving. Well, I'm going to tell you, and go back and watch it again. You look at how he cannot move, and you look at how much distance they made up and calculate that he only has about 10 more seconds or so when he passed out, when his eyes closed. Look, he's got to wake up, get his bearings, get off that thing, and get out of there in about 10 seconds. So, if that's the last thing we ever saw and it faded to black and there was no episode 5 and no next season and the writer said, this is it, it's over, we would be having this dialogue right now saying, oh my God, what happened to Rick? Did he make it? Did he not make it? Did something happen? All right? And then let's say a year later, they started that exact moment and a helicopter flew over and shot a missile 10 feet away. Well, it'd probably kill him. 50 feet away, and the missile had an iPod attached to it, and when the missile hit the ground and started playing Rapture by Blondie in the 1980s, and the walkers turned around and they all got distracted and they walked away, and then 2 people came over and they sawed off the rebar, they carterized it so he didn't lose any blood, and they just happened, Sadiq showed up on another white horse and had an IV and a bag of blood with him, and he got an infusion, and Rick was happy, okay? He lives. Good. I'm glad you guys are getting the humor out of this, because that's what the point is. The point is, if it would have ended last night, then they can come back in a year, and they can change the scenario to keep him alive. So, if he goes on this magical Don Quixote type journey to get to the bridge that never really happens, and we know it doesn't happen because Maggie and Michonne are not there, then we got to discount everything that happens before that. So when he's talking to himself in the hospital, he's hyping himself up. Get up, Rick, get up. Okay, yeah, I'm getting up. All right, I'm up. Watch this. Boom. I'm a superhero. I can get off this rebar. I can live. I can survive it because I got to get to my goal. And my goal is something in my mind. It's in his heart. It's in his soul. It's keep that bridge. Have everybody fight. Now, that may be a real thing that happens later on, but it's not going to happen while he's stuck on that rebar. And if he does, the walkers get closer and closer and closer, and all this thought goes through his mind in a process of milliseconds. That walker's only 10 feet away, and he opens up his eyes, and that thing is right in his face, and it fades out, and we get a time skip, then we don't know, do we? We're going to be saying the same thing that we said last night when we said, nope, he ain't going to make it. Yes, he is going to make it. They have the ability to go back and tell this story. Or to not even tell the story. They could, 2 years from now, show Rick at a underground military thing, and we're going to be like, oh, okay, he got out somehow. That's crazy. Because they don't answer every question perfectly. And you know what? They wouldn't even have to answer every question perfectly because he's Rick Grimes. And if we thought there was a chance he could come back, the dude could be coming in on the back of a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with ghosts flying around, and we'd be like, we don't care. It's Rick Grimes. We accept him back, as corny as it is. So they can always come back and write this thing back into it. I got a super chat. This is Sherry Bentley. So what about the house and the mailbox? I posted something on the Facebook page a little bit earlier. The last name is the same last name of the actor in Night of the Living Dead. So I think that's paying tribute. And once again, this is probably going to be someone Rick knew or someone, he's going back through his life. We don't know every story he's ever went through. So it might be kind of just a really quick sub-story. We got Swole. Swole says, if it's last episode, why wouldn't he be dying? Well, Swole, it's his last episode, and the plan is for him not to come back. However, Angela Kang has said, we love our Andrew, and we're doing some things with time, so you never know. But the plan is for him to leave the show. But I also have to think that they're going to leave a small window of opportunity in case he ever got that itch and wanted to come back. Lynn Varner, the writers are absolutely manipulating, and I love it. I think they are phenomenal. I love the writers for what they're doing this season because they can't control Rick leaving. That was Andy's choice. So put yourself in a writer's situation. The only thing they can do is entertain the hell out of us and do the best they can with the characters and do the best with the story that they have. They didn't want to sign up to this. They didn't want to sit down and say, wow, everybody, guess what? I'm really looking forward to writing Rick Grimes' death. No, I mean, this is the hand they were dealt, and I think they're doing a wonderful job. I think they're keeping us on our toes. I think they're going to give a little bit of something for everybody. It's going to be visually appealing, and also I think it's going to keep the spoilers on their heels a little bit, which is what we want, which is what we love. And with that being said, we got about 5 minutes, and I'm going to give just a little bit more side chat and talk about some things we're going to talk about tomorrow night. But 500, 600, 700 people in the stream, a couple thousand people have been here since we started this. You guys could all do me a big, big favor. Hopefully I'm not asking too much out of everybody, but everybody do me a favor, and if you're part of the 999 Army, if you like our chat, if you're entertained, if you like to hang out with us, we do this every night at 9:30, hit that like button. If you just showed up and this is your first time watching and you think, man, I'm bored to death, I hate it, it's not entertaining, this guy's stupid, give me a thumbs down, and we'll live with that as well. So just want you guys to make a choice, and obviously the more people like it, we feel good about what we're doing, and we want to get back together and keep doing these things. But if people don't like what we do, I understand it. No hard feelings, and we want to appeal to our audience. And I will say we're Walking Dead fans. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We certainly have a fair amount of criticism, but we don't take it to an extreme. I think we love the show, and we're going to be here till the end. Kel says, Smile says, not knowing creates the best discussions. I agree. So let me touch on spoilers, and please don't go over to spoiler sites and say, Kills doesn't like you, and you guys shouldn't be doing this. Everything has a purpose. What I will say, I would prefer there was a world with no spoilers. In my perfect world, they don't exist. Because I am completely at peace and entertained talking about all of these different theories and predictions. And hearing your insight and what you think. We've heard probably 10 different predictions tonight, and I think they're all fun to mess around with. But the fact that there are spoilers out there and that they do surface, and when they do surface, other people are talking about it, and sometimes people come into the stream when we're doing a prediction and they already know. That's why we bring spoilers into our streams. So when they do become public, yes, we do talk about them, but we're not the first person that's going to do a video and say, guess what, we got the spoiler. We're going to analyze it, talk about it, and see how it relates to other stuff that we do. And I do think that there's been some good spoilers this year. I don't think we've overdone it. And I also, the images that we have yet to see, some of the herd images, Maggie with the crowbar, beat down, the bloody boots, the blood dripping, we're going to see that. And also, of course, the scene right here. And the bridge scene. But the way they play out and the order they play out, I just think is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys are down for the ride. It is going to be one heck of a ride this week. And if Rick makes it, if he does not make it, we are going to have a very emotional stream next week. It is going to be, I'm going to have people in tears. But we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to show our support for the show. And we're going to hold tough and keep watching and analyze the next storyline that comes out. We got My You Funny says, should Bob be in Hallucination to say, this is a nightmare and nightmares end? I don't think Bob's going to make it, but this is what we have heard so far. Lori, Carl, Shane, Herschel. And it looks like the Shane scene is going to be he and Rick sitting in a car. So we may never get that. You know, another spoiler site was predicting that Shane's looking at Rick saying, "Get the F up, man, get the F up." But it doesn't look like Shane's even saying it. It looks like Rick's going to say that to himself. Now, maybe Shane is yelling at him at the end, and this is what he sees, but we'll get into that. I posted several topics for potential conversation tomorrow. I know there's going to be more stuff that comes out and picks surface here or there. So if you guys want to join in tomorrow, we'd love to have everybody back. We will be here at 9:30 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. We'll probably do a special emergency stream Friday and Saturday, so hold tight. It's going to be a very busy week, and of course, Sunday is just absolutely nuts. We're streaming 4 times on Sundays. So stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell that gives you notifications. And just want to say thanks to everybody. We're going to wind this thing down. So if you're watching the playback, this is the closing credits. If you're new here, one thing that I try to do, I can't get everybody because we've had a couple thousand people in here, but I'm going to do some shout-outs. I'm going to start out with the Patreons. You can see a list there. And we do have a brand new Patreon, and I haven't even posted up there yet. So I want to say what's up to Jose as well. So I think 62 patrons now. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything that you guys do. And, of course, we got the sponsors over in the top right-hand corner. You can see them in the stream, different color chat, also emojis. The moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, just an awesome job. Unbelievable work that they do. And tonight we had a lot of people super chatting. So let me get to the super chatters really quick, and then I'm going to call out a whole bunch of 999 folks. Scott Kernan, once again, just multiple super chats, lighting it up. Thank you, Scott. Steve Smitherman. We also got Crystal, the singer chick, Gore, Peter M, B-Core, Charles Thompson, multiple super chats. Home Flaherty, Cody Whittington, Joseph Salajar, the helicopter dead. Thanks so much for that, Joseph. E-Beach 72. Who else dies besides Rick? Anybody? E-Beach, we're going to talk about that. Got your super chat, but we will add that to the stream tomorrow night. Jason Mixologist Daily. Scott Kernan, Alexandra K, Libertarian Freak, Julie McGuire, June Smith, Dustin Little, Angie Kinney, Sherry Bentley, Swole, Kel says smile, and May You Funny. So we got just a ton of people super chatting. Thank you guys. I appreciate just everything you guys do to support the channel. One more thing. I'm sorry, I don't want too many advertisements. But if you guys scroll down, we do have 999 merchandise in a couple different sites. So this is actually integrated into YouTube. Many people are asking about hoodies. So you can see the official 999 Army hoodie. We got socks, leggings, shirts, you name it. We got a little bit of everything for everybody. All right, there you go. You guys have heard the whole thing. Let me get to some shout-outs. Kim Ames, thank you. Samantha Coombs. Meadow, Gamma, Rublo's Channel, Bad Hair Day Lady, DDA Ohio, Rhonda DeLuca, Bumblebee Brown, Lisa Smith, Tanya Doc Stater. There we go. Now it's streaming. That's what I want to see. Lisa, Shane Yutzy, Trevor Koenig, Gina Crockett, Michelle M, Kimberly G, and also the other Kimberly G. Kimberly Smith, Green 74, Tracy D's, Anna Demo, Rhonda Dum, Salty Tide, Jenna Panda, Amber McGilton, Uncle Creepy, Chris Riddle, Edgar D, Newfield 12, Drama King, Patrick Ivers, Randy West, Brian Rooker, Robin Vance, Kimberly M. A lot of Kims here tonight. Awesome. Good stuff. Dorothy Martin, thank you. Kevin Stover. Joey Price, Frankie Taylor, Melanie Shaw, David Stubetta, Dolphin Smooth 88, Dave Alford, Michael Curie, Mitch True, thank you. Appreciate everybody being here. Amazing crowds the last couple of days. I said I wasn't going to ask you guys for anything else, but I'm going to ask for one more thing. Let's keep these crowds this way for The Walking Dead. I know there's most people that are here, it's because they want to get any little bit of news, any little bit of spoiler information to find out what's happening. But it really does, when we have groups like this, there's so many good ideas, and we get to these theories really, really fast. And my hope is that even after the Rick episode, I know there's going to be a ton of people after the Rick episode and the day after that, but I would just love to keep this momentum all throughout the season. So many faces that I only see every once in a while, but would love for you guys to be a part of this each and every night. If I missed doing a shout-out, we will do this again tomorrow night. So leave the comments below. Once this video goes live, check it out. There's going to be people watching playback. They're going to watch your comments and respond. If you get a chance, go respond to their comments all over again. All right. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully, we achieved our objective of informing, entertaining, and just forgetting about the world for a little while and coming in and relaxing and enjoying each other's company. My name's Killshot. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you all at 9:30 tomorrow night. Peace.